What is up, guys? It is Wraith. I am back and I am super excited and tired from my 4-day trip to New York Comic Con. This is the first time I've ever been there. This is the first time I was dressed in full Grey Knight cosplay for this. So let's get over to the video. Let's get into it. Let's go! Alright guys, and we're back. So we're going to go over my 4 days at New York Comic Con. First day that we were there was a Thursday. I didn't dress up in my cosplay because I'd never been there before, so I wanted to get the lay of the land. We also had a panel first thing in the morning for Critical Role for their new series Mighty 9 on Amazon that was coming out. I'm not a huge Critical Role fan, but my wife is, so I definitely wanted to go to this, at least get an idea of what we were dealing with as far as like the crowds and the layout of everything. As you can see here, this was the crowded area for the Mighty 9 for the panel. When we walked in, there was a lot of people. Even Thursday it was pretty packed. It was awesome seeing all the actors up on stage. I've never been this close before, so this was awesome. Now after that, we walked to the vendor area essentially, and this was the entrance to it. Even on Thursday, like I said before, it was super packed. I was walking around, and as you can see, I was specifically looking for the Warhammer because I knew that Games Workshop was going to be there, but I wasn't expecting this. They had an unbelievable Warhammer statue. We had an Ultramarine Terminator, and they had so much stuff. They had such a huge layout. Talked to my brother-in-law. In the past, they've never had something like this. So this was awesome that they had such a large area and so much stuff. As you can see, also, I was super surprised with that JOYTOY banner in the background. We'll go into that more in a little bit, but they had a bunch of stuff. Now, this is day 2. This is when I actually got into my cosplay of my Grey Knight, standing in front of the vendor area of Games Workshop. They were so awesome. They let me hang out there for more than 12 hours. So I stood like this for so long, and people thought I was a statue until I moved. People were taking pictures. Kids were coming up to me. That was probably one of the most fun things, was taking pictures with all the kids. People coming up to me, not knowing that I was actually a person in this outfit. So that was really cool, and it was such an awesome opportunity for people to come up, get an idea of what Warhammer is all about. So, and this was more or less like my most fun moment of all of the Comic-Con. Now, as we had other Comic-Con people in costumes come by, I had to get a picture with the Demon Hunter, the other Demon Hunter from K-pop. A lot of people also wanted me to chop their heads off with a sword. This is also another cool point. We got some cosplays of a Krieg. This is probably my favorite costume that I saw. A Krieg, fully decked out, unbelievable costume. Absolutely great. He also, I think he gave me a purity seal, so that was really cool. And then the Emperor of Mankind came by. This was awesome too. So this was day 2. He came by, he blessed the Kriegsman, which was awesome. We had so many people coming by wanting to take pictures. This was really great. I was hoping I would see more cosplayers of Warhammer 40k there, and especially this moment didn't disappoint for me. This was a great opportunity for people also to come up and see a couple different other cosplays for Warhammer 40k. So the other thing too is there's a whole family of the Astra Militarum, and we have some Adeptus Mechanicus. This guy was awesome. He said next year he's going to come with his Black Templars cosplay, fully decked out just like me. So this is awesome. Like, I got to see and meet so many people, so many diverse fans from this fandom. This was Games Workshop employees. He was actually decked out in full Mechanicus cosplay. The other gentleman who's also working was an Inquisitor, so that was great. This was crazy. JOYTOY was there with Warhammer stuff. I was so happy. I actually picked up a couple of things, which I'll go into. Here's one of them right here. I picked up the Terminator from the Thousand Suns, which I was missing, so that was great. The JOYTOY guys didn't understand me, especially in the suit, but it was awesome. They got to see me because my cosplay is based on their figure of the Interceptor from the GreyKnights. So this was crazy. This was great. They were very excited to see me after I explained them what the cosplay is based on. It was such an awesome experience. And again, so many people were excited to see. They didn't really know. Some people didn't know what it was. Some people thought I was from Fallout. That's okay, but they wanted pictures, and it was such a great experience. We have some Helldivers cosplays here that were really excited to grab a picture with me, which was awesome. That was kind of the whole thing. Every time I especially put on my helmet, people wanted tons of pictures. Even without my helmet, I had a balaclava on, and people wanted pictures. And so that was really cool, and being able to talk to them, explain to them, I'm a Grey Knight Interceptor from Warhammer. They were really, really receptive, especially all the different fandoms wanting to grab pictures, and they were really receptive to understanding what Warhammer is. They've heard about it, but here's a chance to actually get to see what a Space Marine in the armor is. So here we can see some Star Wars fans, some Mandalorians. We got tons and tons of Star Wars fans there with lots and lots of lightsabers. So that was awesome. Again, this is me standing. My sword also glowed, which was great. So that's the Nemesis Force Blade. And I actually let a lot of fans hold it. This was another amazing moment. This is Extreme Costumes. So they had the best cosplay overall there. They had some monster stuff. They had the Galactus cosplay, which I believe was about 12, it was over 12 feet tall. They also had the Bumblebee. Here we got a little behind the scenes action to see how they actually got into this and how they worked it out, because it was unbelievable to be able to see this in person, how tall this was and what it took to be able to get the person in there and to have him move around. Now, they also invited me to walk with them, which was amazing. And as you can see here with the crowds, he was just, there's a guy, he's literally, his head is in where his neck is, I believe. And just the reaction from people, the awe, me walking behind them, as you can see here, walking out into the main thoroughfare of where everybody was and where all the windows of the open ceiling was crazy. When I walked out into here, when I walked behind them, nobody could nobody saw me. I was asking, well, some people were asking for pictures, but I was happy to go behind them because I was getting some of the attention off. That was awesome. But these were awesome folks. They amazing work. I can't even imagine the amount of hours of time that goes into this to put it together. So here's some of the other cool cosplays. So a Mountain Dew Man. We got this awesome Lex Luthor cosplay. Here you can see without my mask on, we had a lot of Star Wars fans who wanted to sword fight me with their lightsabers. We got this unbelievable Darkseid cosplay, which I had to get a picture of. And this cosplay was absolutely massive. Then we're moving over to Cyber Akuma from Street Fighter versus X-Men. And then we're moving over to the Demon Slayer cosplay, which was awesome. This guy had no shirt the whole time. Then we get, I believe this is King Predator. This was awesome. We had some Transformers cosplay. This guy actually transformed into this. Everybody wanted me to kill them with my sword for some reason. Then we get the Fallout cosplay. This is what everybody thought I was supposed to be. Then we get some Starship Troopers cosplay. This was awesome, taking a picture next to him. He looks like an Astra Militarum. Then we also got some people who wanted to interview me. On the main thoroughfare, there was a lot of people interviewing, so this was awesome. I got to interview, talk to some guys. He was actually a Salamanders fan, so that was really cool. He was really excited about Warhammer 40k, seeing somebody who was a fan of it. He had a lot of stuff to say. Also, I want to say there's a lot of people I took pictures with at this con, so that was awesome. Anybody who's watching this, if you want to either tag yourself or say, hey, I took a picture with you, throw a comment in here. This way you can give you a shout out. And yeah, I love this event. This is really cool, especially being able to talk to all the fans, especially about Warhammer, especially because this was a lot of their first time being able to see somebody set up or dressed up in Warhammer gear. Again, I'm the Grey Knight Interceptor, so I have to explain that what I am. I'm not an Ultramarine. I'm not Titus. I'm not from Space Marine 3. But it was cool. It was cool being able to explain that. And then we walked over to the main area. This is where the light was coming in for all of the main photographers. I walked over here. Some photographers wanted to take some pictures of me. By the way, all these pictures were from my brother-in-law, who was more or less helping me out this entire time. So he was a huge help. I definitely wouldn't have been able to do any of this. He took all this footage and this pictures while I was literally just standing there. He did all the work. So thank you, John. So this was awesome. Again, a lot of the professional photographers, when I walked in this area, were very happy to see me and were able to take some pictures. So this was awesome. Again, my famous stance, so standing there with my sword out like at night. This is probably my favorite stance because I was able to close my eyes, go to sleep sometimes, because I could not sit down or drink for I guess it was about 14 hours that I was in this costume over those 2 days. So again, it was awesome. All these pictures again were by my brother-in-law. He did such an amazing job helping me out with these pictures as well. So again, this was awesome. It was so cool. I think one of the coolest things that I wanted to be able to do at this con was be able to walk around this costume, get a feel for what everybody thought of it. I was very happy with the proportions of it. I was happy with how it looked. The lighting in this area is unbelievable for the pictures. Again, you can see the sunlight coming on. That's not actually anything that's in Photoshop. That's the light that's coming on. And then as I was leaving the con on the last day that I was dressed up, this is the shots of me walking out. I decided to keep my helmet on and to keep everything in gear so people could see me as I'm walking through the streets back to my hotel. This was awesome. Some great shots. This was right literally outside of the Javits Center where the Comic-Con was going on. So I was a little sad taking this off because I knew this was going to be my last day in it, but I tried to get as much out of this. I tried to squeeze as much fun out of this because this was absolutely such a blast being able to do this. Also, on my very last day Sunday, I got some coverage on being able to see some figures that I wanted to see. Here's me. We actually, on the last day, I went to the Warhammer guys. I said thank you. They had a Warhammer mini painting area downstairs. So I went downstairs. This is the first time I'm painting a miniature. So I tried to make up a GreyKnight. Some of the helpers that they have there at Warhammer helped me out. And this is me leaving my helmet here. We're taking a picture. This was such an awesome experience. Anybody who's interested in going, I would definitely recommend it. As usual, guys, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. All right, guys, I am Wraith. I am out. I had an absolute blast at New York Comic Con.